In today's video, we are going to celebrate Joomla because this week Joomla turned 20. And we're going to look at the question, is Joomla good news? And the reason that we're asking that question, we will get into in a little bit. Hey there, Joomla fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Joomla fan too. Thanks for tuning in to Watch Me Work live stream number 307 here on the Basic Joomla channel, where I show you my favorite extensions, tools, and tips for building and maintaining Joomla sites. Work on Joomla sites, maintain them, build them, migrate them, do all that stuff. If you're looking to hire someone short-term or long-term, just get you out of a spot, send me an email, tim@cybersalt.com, and let's talk. Today's video is brought to you by our channel sponsor, mysites.guru. Do you have a Joomla site? Of course you do. Head on over to mysites.guru and check out all the tools and information that will save you time and money managing one or multiple Joomla sites. All right, yes, this week I had a client site go down actually a couple times, and my sites alerted me right away that it was down, and I was able to deal with it right away. So that's just one of the things that I use mysites.guru for. All right. Hey, let's talk about this picture behind me. We've had guests in studio. Well, in studio. We had the guests on the live stream last couple of weeks, and when I do that, I capture Facebook, so you don't see the pictures. So this one's been waiting for a while. I don't think I've shown it to you before. Let me just remember how to get rid of my camera here. Which one is that? Oh, it could be this one here. Yeah, so this is an island just up the street from where we live. The mountains behind there is Washington State, the Olympic Peninsula, but that is Race Rocks, and there's a lighthouse on there. And I believe it was June that Susan and I got a chance to go for a tour around Race Rocks Marine Reserve there. So we saw sea lions and kelp and sonar of a shipwreck and just all kinds of stuff. It was a really beautiful day out on the water, and I took a lot of pictures, so I thought I would share that one with you guys today. And there we go. Ivor says, looks like certain parts of Norway. Yes, I bet you it does. Yeah, we've got fjord type stuff happening in places on our island, long dips of ocean into inland. So there we go. Now things are excuse me, things are a little bit different in my studio because long story short, I was helping to stream something earlier this week to someone else's YouTube channel. Actually, it was to the Joomla channel, YouTube channel. And so I made a duplicate setup. I thought I was making a duplicate setup of my live streaming setup so that I could connect to the different YouTube channel. And so I started deleting all my basic Joomla stuff here. And what I found out was that I was actually just deleting my setup. So I was very grateful to find a very old file that had most of what I had. So I was able to recreate it and actually make it look a little bit better. So that's what I have done. All right. So I'm not sitting in this chair straight. All right. So let's turn our attention to the screen and we'll start to talk. Now, why am I starting out the Web 357 website? Here's the story, and this leads me to our question today. Web 357 is redesigning their website. It looks like they haven't done it yet, but Yanis asked me if I would give a referral for his site. And, oh man, I thought it was at the bottom of the page. Maybe it's on a new site. Anyway, so I made a little video talking about how much I like Web 357 extensions. Sure, I would be happy to because I really do like them. I use them on my sites and on my client sites. And he took that video and uploaded it to his website. Maybe it's just what customers are saying here. Let's just see if it shows up here. No, okay, so he uploaded that video. And then I noticed that on the video it says, Tim Davis, Joomla Evangelist. So I thought, wow, there's a bunch of, I don't know if I've ever been called a Joomla Evangelist before. Now, So I got thinking, is Joomla good news? I mean, if I'm spreading the news about Joomla and uh, is that news that I'm spreading good news? Now, for context, um, I want to explain what an evangelist is because not everybody has a really great view or idea of what an evangelist is. So, and maybe part of the term, the reason that Yanis used this is because the Greek word for evangelist basically is the root of it is someone who proclaims or spreads good news. Evangelist, the good news is evangel. I'm not great at I'm not super great off the cuff at the Greek, but anyways, it's good news. And so an evangelist is someone who shares the good news. Now, the term evangelist, even though it is used in that corporate sense of someone that is, spreading the news about a product, in its root, not only in its meaning, but its main meaning is someone that shares the gospel. Now, the gospel is another is English. The root of the word gospel is good news, and so an evangelist or the gospel, as found in the Bible, is the good news is this: is that mankind, having rejected God and having a broken relationship with him as a result of that, the good news is that that relationship can be restored because God came to earth as Jesus, fully man, fully God, lived a perfect life, died on the cross in payment for the sins of the world, and anyone who believes and trusts in that sacrifice alone, their sins are forgiven, and then they begin a new relationship with God that is a process of them being transformed back into the relationship in the image that he wants to have. And so you can imagine, and that's good news. I think that's good news. That's good news that my whole life is based upon. But that is the gospel. Now, the reason that I mention that is that there's been a lot of snake oily people that have taken the gospel, the good news of Jesus, and have used it for their own advantage, and have carried on and conducted themselves in such a way to get people's money, to get people's bodies, to get people's attention or adoration, to to pad their own lives using the gospel in a very different way. And the reason that I say that is that many of you know that I have pastored churches for 29 years. And so I just want to point out that uh, just because someone does something horrible or wrong with the gospel, the good news of Jesus, doesn't mean that Jesus is bad news or it's not true. In the same way, think of it this way: if someone takes Joomla and makes a website that sells fentanyl or promotes human trafficking or uses it in racist ways or any kind of way, you would not say, "Oh, Joomla is terrible because look how that person is using Joomla." And so I think in the same way, I just want to say this: if I'm going to be called an evangelist, I want it to be understood what an evangelist is. It's someone that spreads the good news. And in the spiritual context, an evangelist that spreads the good news of Jesus, that's, if they're spreading the good news as is true and what is really good news, great. If they're abusing it, please don't judge the news on that. And please don't judge people, other people that believe in that good news in the same way. All right. So sermon over there. But so here's my question then. If I'm a Joomla evangelist, is Joomla good news? What's the good news about Joomla? And so for the rest of the stream today, we are going to celebrate what is good about Joomla and what is good news for people, um, maybe who are looking for some way to get their website online or do something. All right, so that's the theme of it. And yeah, so there we go. Okay. Hello, Julie. Good to see you. And yes, and hello to Bjorn and hello to Ivor in chat there. And yeah, so everybody, happy birthday, Joomla. So let's close this. Now I've got some sites open up here, and we're going to use this just as the preview and overview of what we're talking about today. All right. Joomla's 20 years old as of the 17th. And what is good news about Joomla? Okay, first of all, one of the things that we're really touting about Joomla and that we see is that Joomla has built-in accessibility tools. So there, and I won't read this site to you. I'm going to share this. In fact, let me just share this particular site right now so you can follow along and other people can follow along. Built-in accessibility tools. This is something that has become very at the core and heart of Joomla, and it is really good because as the requirements around the world for accessibility become put into law and become expected, that adds a burden to people that have a website. The last thing that you want to do is build a website and then get in trouble because you ran afoul of the law. And you would not, and even though, I mean, we don't see a lot of lawsuits in the news, it's not a big thing in the news about lawsuits against accessibility, but that said, you don't want to expose yourself to the danger that someone out there is going around looking to cause trouble or ride this horse and really stir things up for people. You know, everyday groups. Well, I would even say this: if an everyday service group or community group was had a website and it wasn't accessible, are they going to get sued? Probably not. Maybe not. But the reality is that if you've got someone who's part of that little community and they're upset that it's not accessible and they make a big stink about it, you know, you just don't need that. So right off the bat, we talk about Joomla being accessible. And we're talking about Joomla 5 here, and of course Joomla 6 is coming out in October. But accessibility is a huge thing. And the beautiful thing about Joomla is that instead of you thinking, oh my goodness, how do I learn all of this stuff? What does that even mean? You can start out with something that's accessible. Now, of course, if you change font colors so they're really faint to read, it's not going to be accessible. But you can start out with something that is already accessible. So that's good news. Joomla is good news in that case. All right, Joomla 5 is fast. I talked to a number of people who are still running Joomla 3, and they're, you know, the difficulty of the painful process that it can be for some people to move from Joomla 3 to Joomla 4 and then update to 5. You know, so migrate from J3 to 4, update to 5. I say to them, man, you really once you get into Joomla 5, your site is going to be so much faster. Why is fast important? Well, it's a factor in how fast your page comes up, is a factor in how you rank in search engine results. Also, by the way, accessibility is a big factor of that. And then also, it's much more pleasurable to work on. People that go to a website that doesn't come up quickly will very soon move away after a couple seconds if it doesn't load. So Joomla 5 is fast. And for those of you who've been around Joomla for a long time, Joomla 5 is so much faster than Joomla 3. I don't even use any of those. No, that's not 100% true. I barely use any of those speed extensions. We've looked at a couple here on the site, and I know my one site is running it. But, and we did see in that live stream, we picked up a bit of speed. But Joomla 5 out of the box is so much faster than Joomla 3 out of the box. And that is good news. Now, it's funny, you know, if you find when you find a Joomla 1.5 site, Joomla 1.5 is crazy fast as well. But it's also crazy fast because there's not as many features to it and it's smaller. Now, of course, it's also not secure anymore. It's not getting security updates. but Joomla 5 is fast. Painless content editing. All right, so editing from the front end or the back. So if you're looking for a solution for your website and you want to do the editing yourself, then good news, Joomla 5, you can do that. Why? And you can pick that up and use things even with the core editor. I still find putting an image in an article could be just a little bit better. But you know what? Overall, if you want to be able to edit your own content, then what it says here, painless content editing, Joomla is good news. Fast loading templates. This is the good news that really got me into Joomla. You remember, I've told this story before, that the all my sites that I was building in Dreamweaver were all boxy because they're all tables, and I would see websites. It's like, why can't I have a nice looking website like that? And then when I discovered Joomla, just installing a quick install from that was available in Fantastical with the hosting, the company I was hosting my website with, I saw the template system, and from that point forward, my sites have looked a lot better. They haven't all looked good because you have to maintain them and design them, and so there's that. But the templates that are available for Joomla are great. The template system, and even the core template, which is Cassiopeia right now, you can customize it, and you can also learn how to customize that if you want, or you can use some other product that's out there. So yeah, the template system is so great, and it's fast, it's mobile friendly, it's accessible, and there's just a whole bunch of things. And as you see here, our web asset manager helps developers load files only when they need them. So developers that are working on Joomla 5 and making an add-on extension, uh, they've got some great tools and ability and structure available to them that helps things to run fast. So if you're looking for a site that looks good and has a template that loads fast, then Joomla is good news. Flexible cache management, that's even nicer because that helps things to run even faster. And if you're doing caching, that can cut down the load on your server as well. So things can be even more faster by using that tool. CDN, all right. So a content delivery network. We're all familiar with probably the most well-known and famous content delivery network that there is today is Amazon. And basically, let's say I order a mouse. I had to order a new mouse here. So here's my mouse. Got some nice LED lights happening there. That mouse came to me, I think it was 2 days, because it was delivered to me from the closest location. If there was just one place where all mice were stored in the world, let's say it was in Texas, then it would take a couple of days for it to get to me. But let's say that there are many locations, as is the case with Amazon, where that particular mouse is stored, and I order it. It comes to me from the closest location. That's a delivery network. So a content delivery network is where you are using a system, a service, where all over the world there are servers, and your files are stored on there, cached on there. And when someone in Africa brings up your website, it comes, the files, the images, what they're asking for goes to them from the computer that's closest, and that speeds it up. So content delivery network. So Joomla interacts with a CDN, and that is good news because your site will be faster. You actually even save on some bandwidth. If you're using Cloudflare, for instance, the free version, a lot of stuff will be cached. It's not even coming from your server anymore. That'll save you bandwidth, and it's less that your site, your web hosting account has to work on. So, is Joomla good news? Yeah, Joomla's good news if you want your files served up quickly to people all over the world. If you're using CDN. All right, Joomla 5 is extendable, so it's scalable. Yes, you can add to it. You start out with the core Joomla install. I just helped someone the other day. I had used our starting install for Joomla, has all our favorite apps on it, and I had done that for him months ago. Then he said that he was not going to do Joomla anymore. He's just going to go somewhere else. That's fine. And he came back a couple days ago and he says, "Oh, he says, can you? I want to use Joomla 5. Is it good?" I said, "Yeah, it's really good." He installed it, but he just installed the plain version. He says, "Well, where's all the stuff?" And I said, "Well, that's everything in the core." Um, now, the great thing is that you can start out with Joomla and just start to build your site, get your content on there. And then when you find that you want to do more, you can expand it. You can say, "Oh, you know what? I wish Joomla had a calendar component." You go and you install a calendar component. You find a free one, or maybe there's one that's got features that you want that's a paid version. No problem. You install it and it begins to grow. And I think that's a great way to learn how to manage and build your own website. Get the basic stuff happening and in place, and then you can grow from there when you want to do things. And that's what I did. I just started out uh, uh, um, building my site, getting my static HTML pages over into Joomla, and rebuilding the content, and then just working away. It's like, oh, I want to fix this title, what the color of the title is. You just adjust it. Oh, I want people to be able to click like on the Facebook icon. And so you go and find it and you add it and you just slowly build. So it's scalable. So if you're looking for a solution for your website that you can just start building and it's scalable, something that you can put your time into and then you can add to later on, then Joomla is good news. Integrated SEO tools. All right, search engine optimization. We're going to talk about this in the channel in the future. I almost thought about doing this for my maintenance Monday this week, which I made no video this week because I was hanging out with my grandson who's here for a visit. But SEO. If you want your site to be found by Google, to be found in the search engines, you need to do search engine optimization. And there's so much inside of Joomla that allows you to do that out of the box by having search engine friendly URLs, a place for meta descriptions, schema stuff that we're doing, SCHEMA, that you can do in Joomla. So many things. And of course, we've already talked about how speed and accessibility plays a factor into that. Mobile responsiveness. Google, when they visit pages, they do the judging for their search results based on the mobile view. They don't even worry about desktop anymore. And so Joomla has integrated SEO tools. And that is good news. If you're building a website because you want someone to find you, Joomla has that built in for you to start using. Now, will there be more things you want to do? Sure, but it's scalable, so you can. So Joomla for these SEO tools, that's good news. Joomla is good news. Now, I want to introduce a new term that really grabbed my attention. In a video I watched a couple of weeks ago, and it's a new term called REO, right? REOs, and it's reputation engine optimization. I had a discussion this week with Brian Mitchell, part of a group that we have, and he mentioned how one of his clients was just killing it with search engine results, and he was making some okay money from being found in search. But then his traffic and his clicks from search engines has begun to drop off, and the reason is because Google is using AI to search the web and come up with the answer for what you're searching for. They're no longer you no longer just see a list of things that you click on to go and visit a page. AI is giving you the answer. And so the focus that needs the focus that needs to a shift in focus that we need to be very much aware of is that we want AI to like our websites, to refer our websites. That we want to have a good reputation with artificial intelligence, so that when they do credit sources, or when they are giving answers, that it's our site that is being used. So we're going to have to talk about that a lot. It's a shift that's come along. But is that how does that fit in with Joomla as good news? Well, the good news is that you've got these tools that you can do that are going to be a good base for you to take advantage of reputation engine optimization. And now SEO tools are still going to be part of that, because it's going to be Google and AI models looking at sites and looking for things. So they need to be fast. They need to be set up well. But there's a whole new area of being of promoting your site online that we need to talk about. So we'll be doing that down the road. All right. Joomla is multilingual ready. So if you have a website that you want to people of other who speak languages other than English, then or you want to build a website that instead of just being multilingual is just focusing on the one language that you speak, then Joomla is good news. Davey from Inverness, good to see you. Happy Joomla birthday this week. Thanks for tuning in today. So it's multilingual ready. And I think that that's really good news for people that have a website, especially if your content does not have to be absolutely 100% perfectly translated. And this is why I say that. If you have plans to build something specifically, a recipe, let's say a recipe, and your native language is Spanish and your site is in Spanish, then you want to make sure that everything that is being displayed in other languages is accurate. Otherwise, someone's going to bake a cake and poison someone, right? So in that sense, you have to be careful with your content. But as far as using the site in other languages, as far as presenting the tool of Joomla and the website in other languages, and for having multiple languages or available for people using your site, then Joomla is good news, because you can have a website that is multilingual ready. Now, I don't do a lot of multilingual websites because I really am primarily an English speaker. There's a couple languages I know well enough probably to accidentally offend people in, but it is there. And if you want to learn, and especially with AI, if you want to use those tools, you can have your content in more than one language, and that is only going to help. It might also help with your reputation in AI. Davey says, good news apart from the long nights of working on it. Yes. Yeah. Joomla is, yeah, there's a lot of late nights to work on our Joomla sites. Hey, everybody, I didn't mention this before. If you'd like to give the video a like, if you wouldn't mind giving the video a like, the stream a like, that would be great. That'll help others to see it. You're more than welcome to share this URL in your favorite Joomla places too, since we're celebrating Joomla. All right, so multilingual ready. Now, so if you want to have a multilingual site, or your site is your main language is not English, good news, Joomla can help you with that and is ready for multilingual. Even if it's a language that's not yet translated, you could do that work. You could learn how to do it. Now that wouldn't be easy, right? But if you speak the other language, you're way ahead, and you just have to learn how to do the translations there. Okay, custom fields and data. Keep your content organized and specific to your site's needs. Available by default in the core content component. So we're going to talk about WordPress in a little while, but not slagging on it. But I have a client who who has a WordPress site. It got hacked. I unhacked it for them, and I updated their WordPress install. But one of the things that that I can't update is their custom. They have Custom Fields Pro, right? And basically, that's an extension they're using to add custom fields to WordPress, and they have to pay to do that. Now, maybe there's a free version. I don't know WordPress that well, but let me just tell you, the fact that custom fields and data are built into Joomla is just so good. There's so many things that you can do. We talk about that Joomla is good news because it's got painless content editing. Custom fields and data, that's good news. Joomla is good news because you can do some pretty interesting and complex things for organizing your data. So, if you're just putting, if you're putting content on there, just you're writing a travel blog, that's fine. That is excellent. But if you're writing a travel blog and you want it to put in have a field in your blog that where restaurants that you ate at when you're traveling and what you rank them, and you wanted to put those in each article, instead of typing those in all the time and doing the formatting, you could create custom fields and just have the restaurant name and the rank that you gave it, and you can do that over and over again, quickly entering, and then you can search based on those fields, and it's very, very powerful. Now, if someone is new to Joomla, just comes along and says, "Yeah, I want that." It's going to take it takes a little bit to learn that, but Joomla is good news because you can do that, and it's there, and it's built in, and it's powerful. Okay. So Joomla 5 is yours. Your data, your layouts, your templates, your imagination. Joomla is built to be yours from the ground up. That's super key because there's a lot of web services out there that if you build a website and if you build a website on their platform, you can't move it somewhere else. And we've said this before, if you cannot download your website and move it to another server, you don't own a website, you are renting a website. Because if you if it's a proprietary place where you have your website, then something happens, that company goes under, or they take away a feature, or even for whatever reason they decide we no longer have insurance to host sites that show recipes because of the liability of poisoning someone. So therefore you can't be on here. You have to go somewhere else. Then you're stuck. But with Joomla, you can make a backup of it, and then you can move it to another server. And so it's yours. All of the work that you put into Joomla is yours, and you can move it around and you can build it up. Now, some people say yes, but what if you use an extension and later on it's not developed anymore, or it's not supported for a future version, or the company closes? Well, that can happen. That can happen with anything that you build your website in. But in the very core and in the very basic thing, your site would be there. It's yours. And if you find out an extension you're using, let's say a calendar extension is no longer being supported, well, then you just recreate that part of your site, but it is yours. This is so very key. This is why people, when you are renting where you live, there's a lot of things you don't do to that place because you don't own it, right? And because you're aware that. And there's nothing wrong with renting. I'm not saying that, but it's just like, oh, something, if this was, you look around where you're living, say, if this was my place, I would spend money on such and such, right? Usually we don't do that. So with the Joomla site, you can be confident that it's your site and it's there, and you have control over it and it belongs to you. Now Bjorn has put an ad in here. Hello, Imran. Imran is joining us from tomorrow. Bjorn points out there's coming a migration tool from WordPress to Joomla. Yes, so that's one of the projects. I believe was part of the Google Summer of Code. But yeah, so there's going to be an, an option there for people if they have a WordPress site and want to switch to Joomla, they'll be able to just migrate it over. All right. So we want to talk about own your data. So Joomla allows flexible hosting anywhere. That is good news. And then supported by a vibrant community. Do you need help? Be empowered joining a welcoming and dedicated community. Yes, so there's lots of help in the Joomla community with your websites. Now, you know, again, this just a little caveat. Not everybody you ask for help for is helpful. If you've ever gone to a store where there's employees and you ask for help, there's some that are great at helping, there's some that aren't. All right. Same thing if you're somewhere in a crowd and at an event and you say, "Hey, where are the washrooms?" Someone is maybe going to be rude to you and say, "Quit bothering me, man. I can't hear the music." Whatever. So yeah, I just stress this, and this is the same. We talk about the gospel. We talk about you know, the other day someone said. Anyways, I just keep focused here. There's plenty of great people in the Joomla community that can help you with your site, and so don't be discouraged if you happen to run into someone that isn't very helpful. And free forever. All right. So anyway, so if you're looking for a community that will help you with your website, good news. Joomla is good news. Free forever. That's good news. That is good news. All right. Free forever. Yes, you don't have to pay for Joomla in the core, and there's lots of free extensions. Key, good to see you, Key. Okay, so Ivor asked a question here. How do you see the future of Joomla when you can use AI to set up a web page in minutes? I'm the devil's advocate here. Yes. Let's talk about that. That's a really good question. So let's talk about that. Let's reserve that for towards the end of the stream. We'll talk about the future of Joomla. Yeah, I think that'll be good. All right. So one thing, if I'm going to type this, make a little note for myself right there off screen. So we will revisit that. Okay. So now we've got the core features. I will paste this here for anybody watching the stream. I think, you know, I'm preaching to the choir today, but if anybody wants to watch this and figure that out, that would be great. To figure out that Joomla's for them, that would be awesome if that happens. All right, so some of these things are repeated here, so we won't spend too much time on this page. Now, having said that, I want to point you to a really great article here, the Phoca Gallery site, and it's entitled "Dear WordPress Users." All right, a comprehensive guide to Joomla strength. Now, I'm here not to slag WordPress. All right. And you know, there's a lot of other web platforms out there that are working for the people that they want, that work with, that, you know, that for what they want to do, right? I'm a pretty firm believer that if something is good, it should stand on its own, not it shouldn't be number one by tearing down other things. In fact, if I'm checking out a new product and they say, "Oh, we're so much better than such and such," I think, "Oh, I should check out such and such. Seems like they're pretty good," because here's someone that's trying to boost themselves based on by tearing down the others. So I think it's good to I think it's good for something to stand on its strength, as I said, And as we talk about WordPress, there's sort of a subculture thing in Joomla where we like to slag on WordPress, but and are super down on it. But instead of being negative and tearing WordPress down, we can be positive and talk about what we've got. Now, obviously, this article is saying, dear WordPress users, a guide to Joomla's strengths. So we're going to talk about Joomla's strengths here and what you can do. So, a real system built on modern code architecture. If you want to hear something really interesting, JDay USA. Here's a great presentation that you could watch again, or would a lot of these sessions from JDay USA, they're worth the ticket to see them online. But if we go to sessions here, and then we go down to 2025, the session I want to point out here is where is Brian Mitchell's session, We Are Not Savages, Understanding the What and Why Behind Joomla Extensions. That is really great. And he talks about the construction and the what goes into a Joomla extension, how it works. And that speaks back to this thing here, a real system of this point here, a real system built on modern code architecture. Joomla is in its source and in its code modern, and as it says here, no need for hacks, and a lot of things that I'm struggling to explain right now because I have a concept of them in my brain, but I'm a lover, not a coder, not a programmer, and so I don't want to just blurb out stuff. Anyways, the thing is that there, and Brian explains this well in his presentation, that the modern core architecture of Joomla is miles above what WordPress is stuck with in their approach to development. Now, what happens in Joomla with this approach of having modern things is that sometimes changes come along and things no longer work. And that's one of the challenges of going through the system that we have, of going for Joomla 4 to 5 and now 5 to 6. As we're using current things, it has to be adapted. What we've been doing in the past has to be adapted and changed and modified to work with current things. But I'll tell you this, some of the experience that I've had with WordPress is that if I want to do something, I get instructions on where to go and change code. And I don't understand that. I can do it a bit. I can do it with Joomla because I'm getting more and more familiar with Joomla. If I have instructions, go to this and do that. But there, I just often see in Joomla, if there's something that needs to be done, there's a plugin that you can put in, and that changes the setting or changes the features or whatever. But in WordPress, it's like, oh, go in here and change this code and add this hook or add this. And so this is a really, really not surprising that Jan from Phoca has this as number one. Good news. Is Joomla good news? Yes, it's good news because it's built on modern PHP and model view controller, adhering to strict coding standards, which makes it future-proof and easy to maintain over time. Right, so Joomla is good news. Template overrides, ultimate customization without breaking the core. So you can change the template without and make overrides to how your page looks and what your template is doing, and custom layout overrides without having to change the core. When the core is changed, when there's a new version comes out, it will not be wiped out. And that gives you a flexibility for developers and designers, as he says here, who want freedom to craft custom layouts, but without technical debt that comes from hacking core files. You can make layout overrides You can customize the template, the look of your site, without having to do anything in the core. And that is great. Just imagine, as Davey says, spending all night working on something. You finally have things fixed. You've made a whole bunch of changes, and then they get wiped out because something changed in the core. Terrible. So if you are looking for something that is going to build your website on, that your work is not going to get wiped out, even the work just that you're figuring out just to change the look, it's not going to be wiped out by other things that you don't understand or don't know what's going on or aren't even aware of, then Joomla is good news for you. Menu-driven architecture for total control over navigation and links. I'll tell you, just try to move some things around in other website developers and other systems. I was just helping a client yesterday. Their site's not in WordPress, but their main menus were not working anymore. They were getting too many redirects. An error that said too many redirects. And it was just like, oh, if only I could log into their site and see where the menu is and access their settings, I would be able to fix this. But it was hidden away somewhere to them. This menu-driven architecture that we have in Joomla is really great because you can construct your menus pointing to content, and it's not a pain. And also, Joomla's URLs are relative. So if I take my Joomla site running under cybersalt.com and I move it to abcd1234.com, I don't have to change anywhere the URL of the pages or of the site because they're all relative. The menu system just works wherever you are, which is really, really nice because recently for a client, they wanted they're doing a new project. I made a copy of their current site and installed it under another domain, and it immediately started working. And that allows us to help them as well to move things around and delete things. But I didn't have to think, here's more code pointing to the old site. Oh, here's more because of the old site. The only thing I noticed was there's some images that we didn't copy over, and that's an easy fix. So if you're looking for something that just allows you to create menus simply and that just work and that don't break and that look at even from SEO, each menu item has its own individual settings, metadata, layout overrides, more control over however each section of your site behaves and is presented. Good news. Joomla's menu system is really powerful for you. So, all right. Is Joomla good news? Well, not modular extensions, plugins, modules, and components. So we talked about this, alluded to earlier. If there's something that you want to add to your site, you can install it as a component or a module or plugin. Now, components tend to be maybe this might be too general, but it is something added to your website that is managing information in a way that the core doesn't. So for instance, we talk about a calendar. You install that, you've got events, you've got dates, you've got categories for events, a whole bunch of things. So it's managing that information. Maybe you put in, what's another component? Oh, a newsletter component. You've got subscribers and you've got templates for the newsletters. You've maybe got some automation like ACY Mailing has, where after someone's being emailed these 3 basic forms over a week, or these basic emails over a week, they get moved to a new list. That's a component. It's in there in Joomla. Now, a module is used to display information from a component in that case, but there are other modules that don't do that. They're modules that are standalone and do their thing. And plugins, as we can see here, small pieces of code that extend functionality by responding to triggers or events. And there's different types there. So yeah, if you are looking for this, expanding on what we already said, Joomla is good news because you can extend it in a number of very practical ways. All right, so performance and SEO out of the box, we talked about that. advanced access control levels. Oh my goodness. Just, uh, I say this to people when I'm pitching building sites for them and pitching Joomla for them. I point out that I said to them, if you want to have a website where things cannot be seen unless members log in, then Joomla is all ready for that. And some people are over the moon about that. Just explain to them. Just imagine you have a club and you want to put a PDF on there that is the address book or the directory for everybody for them to download and print at home or have handy, or even to just put it on the website in content. But you don't want that public. They have to be able to log in. You want to control access to it. Good news, Joomla is the one that you want to use for that. Joomla can do that. And it not only manages content, controls access to content, but also to components, modules, other things there. So there is a ton. I think that if you were to have to pay for a system where that was all in place and have it developed and then customized specifically for your unique needs, it would cost a pretty penny to have that developed for you, and that's just included in there. All right, so we saw, yeah, that's good. Joomla is good news there. Powerful content management system with flexibility at its core. Yeah, so we talked about that. Articles, categories, custom fields. Security. Yes. Joomla and WordPress have strong communities dedicated to maintaining security, but Joomla includes several security features. Two-factor authentication, bcrypt encryption for passwords, whatever that is, and granular user permissions via ACL. And we talked about user permissions. But Joomla is secure. As long as you're keeping up to the latest versions, then Joomla is secure. Let me just turn off my phone here. That is my weekly call for weekly. It's daily lately for trying to scam me for my cell phone. It's interesting how the world has changed now. Most of the local calls that I get on my phone are numbers that are spoofed, and I know that there's spammers. Normally, scammers. Normally, I would answer in case it's real, but anyways, yeah. So keep Joomla up to date in the latest version. Keep your extensions up to date, and you are going to be way ahead in the security game. Now, I think WordPress gets hacked more often than Joomla, but WordPress is also a bigger target as well. So let's face that. If hackers are good business people. They're going to put their efforts in that has the biggest return. So why not? If you can get 1 out of 1,000 people to trick them out of their password for phishing, if you're going to try to take advantage of weaknesses on sites, why not attack 10 million sites instead of 1 million sites? But that's not to say that there aren't things out there looking for weaknesses in older versions of Joomla. Anyway, security. A lot of people don't worry about security because they don't understand it, or they think, it's beyond me, or I just need to do other things. So why not use something where you can realize, hey, I'm doing this is secure. There's a lot of people working on this, and I just need to keep it up to date. So that will help greatly. All right, so Joomla is good news. Good news if you're looking for something that you can feel confident that you're building with good security. A community and development focused on best practices. Joomla's development community emphasizes best practices. All right, so modern PHP standards, maintain high-level code quality, core features regularly updated. Joomla is a very active community of developers, users, and contributors. So you'll find it in the JED, Joomla extensions directory, and Joomla forums and user groups. Okay, so as we mentioned before, yes, the community is there. There's a lot of stuff going on our behalf that we don't even see. And so at that point, I think it would be It's good to thank all of our developers and the people that are doing that work underneath the hood that we're not even aware of. And then there's the many people that are really helpful in their support. And as I said before, if you find someone that's not helpful, or if you find a forum that you find is not helpful or the people are not kind, just keep looking around. And remember, we got the basic Joomla channel here. And also, I will just say that, let's just go here. SoundResult.com. I am still trying to build up this forum here. In fact, the other day, someone asked me a question about how to create a subdomain in cPanel. And I went in here and I created a new using cPanel hosting account forum here. And I asked their questions as a character called Church Mouse. When I was pastoring, whenever I'd write an article for something, I didn't want to have my name on everything. If it was just like some announcement or some look back on an event or something, I would just sign it Church Mouse. So I create Church Mouse, and then so I would really love for this forum to take off. Maybe it will someday, but anyways, all just to say, there's lots of help in the Joomla community. And especially once you find the place that's most helpful, that's good. Don't stick around places if you find you're just getting beat up. And then Jan goes on and says, advantages of Joomla over WordPress, the summary. And that just summarizes everything it's got there. When should you consider Joomla? All right, well, complex permission structures with multiple user roles, multilingual websites, flexible content for large websites, various content types, SEO performance, modular template system, native security performance. If you're looking to build a corporate website, community platform, e-commerce website, government or educational website, good news. Joomla is good news. You can do it. And he has some final thoughts for WordPress users. We'll just leave that there. All right. Now, this website here is Spread the Love Joomla is something that I believe Brian Tiemann made this website for the Joomla's 20th birthday. So we will just end up here on this, we'll land on this page next. Joomla is about people, not just software. And I think that is a really powerful part of Joomla. Everything online has a community. So in this sense, Joomla is not unique because there are WordPress communities, there's Drupal communities, there's Wix communities. Community just happens whenever we do things. Recently on Facebook, a post got floated to me on my feed for an old Matchbox car. Maybe it was a Hot Wheels car that I used to have. And it was a toy I used to have, and that was great. So I hit like. And now I am really enjoying seeing a lot of the toys that I had as a kid, different Hot Wheels cars and things come up. And I actually joined a couple of groups. Then there were so many posts, I realized, oh, this is getting too distracting in my day. But then I thought, hey, you know what? For people that are collecting Hot Wheels cars, there's a community. And so if you take all of the communities for everything that's online, even if you take some of the communities the thing they have in common is something horrible. Like I say this, even amongst terrorists, there is community and care for each other. Because that's the way, as human beings, we are created to need each other and to connect with each other. Some are great at it, some struggle with it, some find it easy, some don't. They have a heart, so just as there is everywhere, there is a Joomla community. And just as there have been so there is that community, and there are great places to land and to connect with in Joomla, and so that's good. Irish says Joomla has come a long way since Mambo. Yes, it certainly has. And Mambo was what Joomla is a fork off of Mambo. Davey says that he's asked some high-level Joomla people some questions in the past when he's had issues, and he was surprised to see they took so much time to try and help him out. Yes, that is true. I tell you, one night I did something really stupid on a client site, and I broke it, and it was the middle of the night, and Europe was just coming online because, on the west coast of Canada here, there's only 4 time zones after my time zone before the day ends. And so, of course, it's the west coast of the west coast of North America. So Mexico, the States, and Canada. Then the next time zone is Alaska, and then I believe the time zone after that is Hawaii, and then there's some Pacific Islands that are in 2 other time zones. Anyways, Europe was just waking up, and I went on and I just basically commented to someone. I did something really stupid. I told them what they did, and I think it was Benjamin Trinkle that gave me the steps, and it fixed the site, and it was so great. So yeah, there is great community in Joomla. Joomla in 20 words. What's that? Let's just see here. Oh, you can submit something that in 20 words you can put here. Nice. I did not see that. Maybe you want to submit your 20 words there. Let's post that link there. All right, so there is community there. Joomla is more than just great code. Without the countless hours of dedication, creativity, and collaboration from those who wrote the code, Joomla would have remained just an idea. So there's lots of contributors. So we talk about the support, but there's also not every idea that gets floated for Joomla makes it into Joomla. But there is a lot in Joomla that has come from people's feedback and talking and discussions and probably arguments and maybe pleading and tears at times. But there is a lot of, it is a community effort. Like in every community, do some people have more influence on what gets in and not? Yes, that's just the reality of community, right? And that, so I just on a personal note, one of the ways to get the most out of the community you're in is to just have realistic expectations of and balance on what belonging to that community means for you on a personal level. So if I use another illustration, when I retired from pastoring churches, I preached every Sunday for certainly 21 years at my last church. And then I was going to go find another church where I would just attend, but I wasn't going to be doing the same things that I had always done because there was someone else that was the pastor and someone else who was preaching. And so I really had to view, what is my place? Who am I in this broader church community? Is it really, do I belong even though I'm not doing the same things? Am I a part of it? Who am I? It's that classic Les Mis song. Jean Valjean sings, "Who am I?" And so I think in Joomla or in any community, if we picture, I will be an important person if I do such and such, or if people treat me this way, or if my ideas get used or whatever, that can lead to a lot of heartache. And maybe this is one of the secrets of thriving in a community is don't look at a community as to what you can get out of it or from it, but look to a community and look for what you can give to it. And start out with individuals that you can help and be kind to and care for. Now, of course, we can't just keep giving and not like an empty jug can't pour water from an empty jug. So of course, yes, you need to receive as well, but a lot of our success and our health and are finding contentment in a community, it has to come from us because we're the only ones that have control over ourselves. We can't control how other people are. Oh, Davey says you belong in Joomla, dude. Well, thank you very much. We all we all do. Yeah. So we've got this this here. Also, Joomla's about community. People have even written songs about it. So I won't play any of them now, but I know some of these. I heard one of these when I was at Forum for the Future in Spain. This Hello Joomla. But so I've not watched these, but here's some songs. Oh boy, I'm gonna talk for a long time. Anyways, so yeah, Joomla is good news. I think Joomla is good news for a lot of people, that you can, for what you're looking for in your website, for what you're looking for support in a website, and if you're looking for a home to a community that's going to focus around, maybe if you have a passion for websites, then good news, Joomla is a great place. That said, not everybody that uses Joomla are lovers of Joomla. They are pragmatic. They are building a website. They have businesses. They just need it to work. And so I think that we also need to be aware of that. I see that as a strength of Joomla because uh, because one of the things that communities have to be careful about, especially when they are passionate about what they're doing and their connection with each other, is that communities can become cultish over time. And that is when we begin to have expected of people who are in the community. So, for instance, um, one, I just got a message about OBS reconnecting successfully. So, hopefully, the stream did not die there. But for instance, uh, you can, we can become so passionate about the core of Joomla that anybody that does things that doesn't use the core of Joomla, that we kind of look at them as not full members, or they're not as good as us, or well, just sort of just even as there's like hierarchy in thanks Bjorn. Bjorn says I'm live. There's a hierarchy in position and value in people in a community. So someone that builds a website with a template builder, as I do, um, or maybe uses a page builder just to make a certain kind of page, it's like, oh, you should use core. What's wrong with you? See, that's cultish. You could say, hey, good for you. Then that page is looking good. Then that's part of community. Because even though even though Joomla is great, not everybody is going to use all the greatness of Joomla. Not everybody cares about the greatness of Joomla. In fact, not everybody cares that their website is done in Joomla. There are some clients that I've just pitched building a website to. I learned this a while ago, and I say, "Oh, I'll build you a Joomla website," and they go, "Well, what's that?" Right? They don't care. They just need a website for their business. They want to sell their loaves of bread. So you just say to them, "Oh, I'll build you a website, and it's going to be secure. It's going to be accessible. It's going to be expandable. If down the road you want to add things to it or have other features, yeah, it's going to be a great website." And they'll go, "Great, build me that website." They don't need to about Joomla. So that's just a little thing about just to be careful about community, because what happens is that we get the feeling that, hey, everybody, we are we're a fun, friendly group, and everyone, we're open to new people because that's the vibe that we have. We're so happy, we want to feel good about ourselves. But then the new people find out, oh, it's very hard to get in there. Then that's yeah, so we need to be careful. But yeah, so the community is there. Yeah. Now I am There. Okay, so I wonder if I can, yeah, maybe let's go full screen now. All right, so if you're looking for a great tool to build your website, Joomla is good news for all of those things. Does that make me a Joomla evangelist? I guess so. I'm happy to spread the good news of Joomla. I'm happy to proclaim it to people that are that have the websites needs that they have that we've looked at. And um, now I am also making my living off of Joomla right now. So, but for me personally, as a for integrity of character, there are people who have websites in other formats or other tools, and it's working for them. And I say to them, look, my company, I could just say, give me money and I will build you a website in what we're used to. But that would be wrong because your website is working fine for what you've got. So maybe just look at this and do that. And then, because there's lots of different people, lots of different solutions, and someone that starts out with a Wix site or Squarespace to get their website going, and that's just where they're at, that is great. Eventually, they may find they want to do some more things, and they're getting upsold on features to add, or they can't back up, or whatever reason, then there's time for them to move on to something else. I had a client this week who I've been coaching through migrating a site from Joomla 3 to Joomla 4, and he contacted me. He says, basically says, Tim, he says, I've made connections with the guy who's going to help me transition my site from Joomla to WordPress. And can you give me just the files from the Joomla site so I have the latest versions? Because he was also hosting with me. He says, because I'm going to host somewhere else. And I thought, okay, well, that's great because he's a client and I want to meet his needs and I want to help him. And also I looked, and the person that he was connected to is someone else who has a website that's in the same industry as him. And I know this particular client was struggling to find time to do everything that he was dreaming of for his project. And so I thought, hey, this is great. Instead of me saying, you'll be sorry, your site's going to get hacked, or don't do that, you'll regret it, I thought, you know what, great. If he's got someone that's going to help him, even though it's in another platform, to help him reach his goals, then that is good. I'm just going to bless him. And I did. And I told him that, if ever I could help him again, to let me know. Because who knows, maybe it won't work out. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay. Imran says, so Bjorn says, interesting session. Great news. Stay Joomla forever. Imran says, what are your opinions about Ivor's questions? Yes, let's talk about that. Bjorn points out that tomorrow there's a session about AI and Joomla. Let's just see here. Let me highlight this link here too. I have not been able to celebrate this week. I've not been able to celebrate this week like I normally would have wanted to, because we've been having a great time with my grandson here. And so we've been out and about and doing things with him. But here's a list of events for this week. Day of Coding, that was August the 13th. Sorry. August 15th is over. Happy birthday, Joomla. There's community accessibility in Joomla that took place on Monday. Secure automated update course, that's there. Release date, yeah, new release of Joomla out. I thought we'd look at that today, but I wanted to do this topic today. This is a Joomla user group. That's tomorrow. Let's see, automation with Joomla. That's tomorrow. That is going to be, that's one that I really want to watch and catch. That Mark DeChevre is doing. Future Joomla. That's Friday. Tomorrow's a session about AI and Joomla. I think the session tomorrow. Did you say AI or API, Bjorn? I don't see an event that's totally focused on AI, although it might be in the future of Joomla. Anyways, what I will say, so check out some of these events. I think this one's going to be good tomorrow. The web design company owners using Joomla as an event. That's a celebration, but also Benjamin, who is speaking at this, I think it's Benjamin Trankel. Check that out. All right, but let's do this here. Let's go back. All right, so let's get to to Ivor's question here. And we'll go back up to it. What do I think? How do you see the future of Joomla when you can use AI to set up a web page in minutes? He's the devil's advocate. I think that the future of Joomla and the work that we do as Joomla, whatever, developers or website of agency built owners of whatever it is you do with Joomla is so Bjorn says automation use of N8 and AI tools make.com. Yeah, I think for me in the gold rush, I want to be the guy selling shovels. So the gold rush that happened up in the Yukon, pretty much the only people that made money from the gold rush were the ones that were selling shovels to the people that were up there looking for gold. And so I think that AI is going to replace quite a bit of what we do. That there will be people that use AI to build web pages, and they're going to need help with what AI doesn't help them with, or what they don't understand, or accomplishing what they want to. AI, ChatGPT 5 is amazing. I was going to talk about this on another stream, and I may still do it as a topic, but would be Joomla only. I think I mentioned this before recently. I recently decided that I was only going to do Joomla. Mostly I'm only doing Joomla anyways. But I was had some WordPress clients because they were paying me monthly to maintain their sites, and I was helping them. But what I found was whenever I went to help them, it's just a huge distraction because it's just not my strength. And my company has grown to a place where I could say no to a couple of clients. And so I just let them know. I let one client know I was going to, after the end of August, I would no longer, I was not working on, I was going to with the strength of my company, which is Joomla, and that I wouldn't be able to serve them as a WordPress client anymore. I got 3 or 4 WordPress sites. And I won't go into the whole discussion before, but because I think I'll save it for a future stream. But with respect to, anyway, so then he asked me, he says, well, we're having a hard time. They found a new agency, and he says, we're having a hard time figuring out how such and such is communicating, how the website is communicating with such and such CIN7, managing our inventory. Can you help us? And I thought, oh, I don't know how. Again, this is why I'm not doing this site anymore, because I don't know anything about that. But I took that question from the client and I typed into ChatGPT. I said, I have a client that has a WordPress site that I'm no longer going to be managing for them. There's a new agency, and he's asked this question. And ChatGPT gave me a whole bunch of prompts, a whole bunch of things to look for in the website and on the server to answer this guy's question that he and the other agency could not figure out. Now, this is an agency that knows WordPress, I'm assuming. I don't barely know it. And then after I posted all the information that ChatGPT needed, it said this to me. Do you want me to put together a handover document so that for the client and the new agency? And I thought, yes, I do. And I said yes. And it then summarized everything that it had found and wrote an email from me saying what the answer to their question was and steps to take that they should do. I read it all over. I understood what it was saying. It made perfect sense to me. I had gone through the steps and learned, and so I wasn't just saying, oh, here's what AI says, take this, but it was really good, and I sent it to them. So that to me, I think that is something that is going to have an impact on Joomla, in the sense that if we have Joomla clients, we're going to be able to use AI in that sense in order to help them understand what's going on their site, maybe taking data, maybe doing a report on information that they have. Outside of Joomla, if someone uses AI to build a website and they've got it, then good. If they want to add some other things, it's probably going to get very powerful. It may very well replace quite a bit of what we currently do in Joomla and how we do it. So for instance, maybe instead of using a page builder, now okay, here's an example. I want to have sometimes for some of my team that I have working on things, they're in different time zones around the world, and I can't always remember what time it is. So I thought, oh, you know what? I would love to have a page where I can just look and see what time it is where the team members are in relation to me, whether it's because I don't want to bother them in the middle of the night or on their own time, or if they're sleeping or whatever. And I thought, well, I guess I could build I could find a clock module and I could put it in there and set it for different times and look at all that. And then I realized all I have to do is ask ChatGPT or some other AI for code and tell them that, and then I will have that done. So that means it's not necessary for me to have anything core in Joomla or add on to Joomla, sorry, to do that. I just need to know how to add a script to Joomla or how to add a script to a website. So to answer Ivor's question, in that sense, how's that going to affect Joomla? I think it's going to impact I think it's just going to impact how people use Joomla. Because if you ask ChatGPT for a page that displays something and you just put that content in the content editor, then you don't really need a lot of stuff in the content editor, do you? Unless you're going to later on change things and use that tool. There's been a very interesting Facebook post from Jan from Phoca. I believe that he has a tool where, and he showed it, it only worked in local, where you said, build me a website that does such and such, about such and such a topic. And it researched it and built it and made Joomla menu items and the content and articles and all kinds of things and just built it. So that I think that is coming to Joomla. It has to. AI has to find its way into Joomla, um, or else it's going to get left behind. In the same way that I mentioned that search engine optimization is now also is the focus now is reputation engine optimization. I no, we're all forced to deal with that. And so I think as new things come along in AI, we are going to there's things that are going to it's got to show up in Joomla. Now we've already seen Mavros Christoforos and his extension for making an AI assistant, which is trained on the content of your Joomla site. We saw last week with AI Weber an extension to generate blog posts. There is 4AI for doing meta descriptions. I think Weber AI did web descriptions meta descriptions as well. There is from Storage Extensions, John Dagomore, who has GP Translate, using AI to translate pages. It's there already. It just really comes down to building things. Also, and I want to catch up on what you guys are chatting about. Uh, and I will state my disqualifications to make this comment. The AI is getting better at programming Joomla stuff. I don't think that it's, I don't know enough. If I tell AI to make me a Joomla component that does something, I don't know enough to know whether the code is perfect or following different things. But I'll just tell you, the jump from ChatGPT 4 to 5 is amazing. And I think this stuff is only just going to get better for things like coding and doing things. The term vibe coding, where you just say what you need and it makes the code for you. It's amazing. So again, I fall back though. You look at all the courses that there are now to take for AI. So those are early adopters that are already making money. What? Teaching people how to use AI. They're not, well, they probably used AI to make their course and their materials, but they're making money teaching people how to do it. So there's always going to be a place to help people with their websites. Because again, I would say the person with the bakery that wants to sell bread does not want to become an AI expert. In fact, they're going to come along and they're going to say, hey, I used AI to make a website, but it's not really exactly what I want. And it keeps giving me code and these changes. I'm so frustrated. I need you. And that's where we're going to step in. So I don't think it's going to replace us, but we have to be fluid in the services that we're offering. I think I think the world is full of enough people that don't want to be web experts that there's going to need web experts to help them with things. And I really believe that what set you apart in your service and that people stick with you is if you're kind and give them great support and don't make them feel dumb when you're showing them how to do things or you do things for them. All right. Let me catch up on conversations been flying along here. Okay. Okay, so yeah, the session tomorrow is about make.com, so that's cool. And I think they'll be using N8N and AI tools. What does N8N stand for? Ivor says, I think about let an agent search and make blog posts automatically. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, if you have if you have AI that is scanning the, let's say, is looking for articles on plane crashes, aviation news, and so it's scanning Google and it reads a news story and it sees an event and and then it searches for all the news about that event and then rates an article saying here's the latest here's the latest information that is currently out there about the such and such accident that took place on this date, creates an article and sends it. Yeah, totally possible. Do we need a lot of sites like that? Yeah, I don't even know if the question is, do we need them? A lot of sites like that. It's just there, and people are trying to make a living, or people are trying to make money, or people are trying to be famous, or people are trying to feel important. Whatever it is that they're doing, whatever the reason is, they're doing, and it's out there. And so, yeah, that would definitely something that's possible. Davey says it's good, but makes a lot of errors. Weeks later, you find it out and messed up, and you got to roll back. Yes, yeah. We at my sister-in-law's yesterday, and they've been she and her she and a grand niece have been going through a coin collection that my in-laws had, my mother and father-in-law had, and they said there's one coin that they could not find out what it was. It's so worn. So I said, oh, let me see it. So I took pictures of it with my phone and I uploaded ChatGPT and said, what coin is this? And it says, oh, this coin is such and such. It's got Queen Victoria on it, blah, 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 blah. And to my eye, I could see that it said King George on it, just very faintly. And I thought, oh man, that is not true. So then I said, well, it says George on there. So then it looked again and said, oh yes, this is either this period or that period. And then I took another picture that was a bit better, and then it said, well, it's, this person, the king is left facing, and he has a crown on, so it's definitely not this because there's never a coin that was left facing for him and where he wore a crown. So I thought, okay, well that's good information, but AI was it was so wrong there. It's like I would not take this coin and say, hey, this is such and such a coin. Because it was way off. So you can't just take what it says and put it there. I saw a picture someone generated. It was like a while ago. It said I think show a picture of someone who is cooking salmon over a fire while they're camping, and there was someone sitting in a tent with a fire cooking salmon. So that doesn't work. Phoca.cart integrated OpenAI. Oh, okay. Phoca.cart's got AI integrated. Yeah, not surprised because of that thing that Jan had shown. Davey says first day using Claude seems better. Yeah. Bjorn says I'm trying it out. Almost there. Generated product description. It's coming. A lot of agents soon. FX Opal in Gemini. Easier than N8N. Okay, it's rather overwhelming and happens so fast. Julie finds that AI makes her a bit lazy because if she wants to correct the line height, for example, I quickly say to Gemini, please correct my code. Yeah. I think that's a great use of AI is when you've got code and say, hey, I've got this. Can you make it, tell me what's not working? Or can you shrink this code? Or here's one. You take, you have CSS and then you customize CSS below and you customize below for the same things. You end up with lots of rows that you don't need. Paste all your CSS in and say to the AI, would you please merge all of the CSS so that it's not so bloated, and it will compile things together. Of course, you need to test. Davey says saves him time creating content as he types with one finger. Imran says you can create or develop a server that could install lots of AI models and allow people to use them for their website, because all servers are not allowing or suitable for using to install AI. Yeah. This is the other thing too, is when technology changes, the jobs change. So it's possible, not right now, that there are students going into school who are to get degrees for jobs that won't exist when they graduate. Let's just take electric cars for an extreme example. If you are a transmission expert, then every, it's like automatic transmission expert, every electric car that is sold is a car that you can't work on. You're not trained to work on, because they don't have automatic transmissions. They're just a straight electric motor. Eventually, if everybody went electric, you would not be able to, you wouldn't have, your job would change. But let's suppose that what do electric cars have that gas cars don't have? Well, let's say self-driving. These are all big ifs. Self-driving really becomes a thing, but the lenses and the glass for these sensors need to be polished, and there's a certain method to do it. And now you train to do that. A self-driving system. Oh, the self-driving system. An SDS technician. Now you're servicing self-driving systems. So when technology and progress happens, jobs disappear, but new jobs are created. And I think that we need to be aware of that and alert to that here in Joomla, and in what we are doing is watch out for those new watch out for the new opportunities, the new jobs to do things. If you find that people are no longer need you to do something because AI is helping them to do it, then you find out how you can help them with their AI stuff. Or, and again, maybe you get into vibe coding. We here on the island, we have sandcastle competition a couple hours north in a city called Parksville. So last week we planned a trip to go up there. But Parksville is also a place with a beautiful long beach, sandy beach, when the tide is out. You want to visit when the tide's out. And we were going on a Thursday. So I put into ChatGPT, I said, I'm going to the sandcastle competition in Parksville on Thursday. I also want to be, I want to take advantage of the low tide, so that, and blah, 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 blah. And then ChatGPT gave me a whole outline saying, well, if you arrive at the sandcastles at such and such a time, the tide will just be going out. You can take in the event, you miss the heat of the day, and then when you're done seeing that, the tide will be out, and then you can go and enjoy the beach, and blah, blah, blah. And it planned a whole itinerary for me and looked at that. It looked at weather and all sorts of things. Now, here's the thing. The festival that puts the committee, or the organization that puts on the sandcastle competition, they don't have anything like that, and anything on their website that would do that itinerary. I could, through vibe coding, talk to ChatGPT and ask it to develop an app or code that people could put in a date that they wanted to visit. They could just type in a date they want to visit, things they want to do in the area, and then submit it. And an itinerary would be planned for them, and they could download it as a PDF, and that could be on that site. That site could, that organization could then sell through sponsorships to local businesses the opportunity for them to be recommended to go to for people who are visiting in the area where to eat for supper. You could sell that app to that organization's website and pitch that idea, and then go to other businesses in the area and say, would you like to be included in this? It'll cost this much. Oh, by the way, would you like this app for your website? Again, you're just using vibe coding for that, and you're just using their existing things. That is something new that's available. And you know, maybe one of those businesses has a terrible website. Build them a Joomla website, or pitch that as well. All right, so oh yeah, Imran, yeah. So AI can replace some of the website, but not all that are using Joomla for a long time. Yeah, and it will be a long time. Davey says he's done more in the last year with AI than he's got done in the last 13 years of Joomla. Yes, I love it for typing email. I just dictate an email and give it the facts, and it writes it, and I read it, make sure it's accurate and says what I want, and make the adjustments that I need to. But I can give a detailed answer of what I want said to someone's email very quickly. AI is confusing and develop. Yes, AI is confusing and developing fast. Anybody tried video overview and notebook LM? No, I have not tried that. Making training videos based on Tim's YouTube videos. That would be good. Yeah, I'll tell you why I am not using AI to make videos, because I did think it might be easier, is because for me, I want my business model is having a personal connection. So the other day, 2 days ago, the phone rang. I was just about to play a game of cribbage with Susan. Our grandson's playing on his video and his device behind us, and someone said, "Oh, our site's down. Something's happened." Da 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 da. And so I went right away and answered and helped them. That's personal contact that I want. I want my clients to know that they can phone me when there's trouble, right? You know, you can ask AI any time of the day what to do or what a problem is, and they'll tell you things to try. But if you're stuck, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters, right? So, yeah, and so you could make training videos based on my YouTube videos, and that would be fine. But you know what? Those training videos, someone still needs to help people when they get stuck. Also, and I've got someone right now who has asked for help. Their website they're getting a 500 error eventually when they're doing smart search on their Joomla site. And I think it's because their hosting is bad. I'm going to try their site on my server. But it doesn't matter if AI tells you, here's the code, put it on your server, and your host is bad, then you're still going to need a human being. So, you know, a lot of people like to, you know, this doom and gloom, and you get, it's like, oh, computers are going to replace us. Probably not. Computers are going to change the world for us. Yes. N8N is a workflow automation platform that uniquely combines AI capabilities with business process automation, giving technical teams the flexibility of code with the speed of no code. Okay. That was Bjorn answering what N8N is. And I just want to point out that Bjorn pasted that answer either as a result of searching in Google, or he asked AI to summarize what N8N is. Which is fine. It doesn't bother me. Imran, it's very much possible. However, anyone can create tutorial using Tim's videos by notebook. Yeah. Hey guys, that's okay. Let's stop talking about making stuff based on my videos. I'll have to try it. What is video? We'll have a look and see. Okay. And I'm just joking about stop talking about it. It's there. You know, I can't look at the effects of AI upon other people and think, oh yeah, but it's not going to affect me. It is going to affect me. If someone's taking that, that's fine. But you guys are all here. We're all here together, not as you know. You're not here for AI Tim to just talk and answer your questions. We're hanging out. We're a community, right? Uh, I convinced Chat. Davey said I convinced Chat GPT. His name is Boab. He now communicates in a heavy Scottish accent. Boab. Uh, oh, okay. Let's see. I saw a video where a person talked to the AI in Hex. And self-driving also needs AI to run its operation. Yes. Imran says he's tried Notebook LM. It's good. And both. All right. I think I'm caught up on chat there. Everybody, one of the things to remember is that a brain that is in panic does not think or see all of the possibilities that there are. So when things change, the people that keep a cool head see more opportunity or see more options. If you're in a fear or like a flight or flee or freeze response to fear, you are your brain and your vision and your options are collapsed and are tightened. So when um when so just look at the pattern of life. Things change. um the automobile wiped out so many horse jobs to the point that now in my city, I think there's 3 horses left in my city. Maybe two or three. Maybe a donkey in there too. It's just always been that way. The internet, look what it's done to news agencies and newspapers. It's wiped out a lot. But everybody who's doing social media management or content management or SEO work, or who will now be doing REO work, who are building websites, who are training, who are building courses online, who are making a living off of YouTube, who are doing all those. None of those things existed even 20 years ago, right? This is 2005. It's just starting to come around. So, yeah. So um, don't let don't let all this stuff that's changing steal your whatever opportunities you have. Now, that said, you know, there's a lot of good people in parts of the world, a lot of smart people, a lot of people with ingenuity that lack opportunity because they live in an area of famine or war or persecution. I would, you know, so each of us here, even across the different countries that we are in, different parts of the world that we're in, we have different opportunities to us, afforded to us. And so I don't want to just, you know, I'm not saying when things change, don't be afraid it'll work out, because, you know, look, change is happening and it's not working out for a lot of people in the world because of their circumstances and lack of opportunity. So I don't want to be like one of those. I don't want to be like an Instagram influencer who sweats and struggles all day and then combs their hair at the place, takes a couple pictures, and makes their life look wonderful. Um, so, but we are where we are in our lives, and panicking, this panicking, although that, as a response to fear in an immediate situation where you might die. All right, so there's some action that needs to be taken, but overall, panicking does not produce any more opportunity than not panicking does, and not panicking might help you to see what else is around. So Imran says people need custom AI for their website that works according to the requirements, but the issue is installing an AI model is not easy. There are very few companies now who are giving the service. Imran, did you see the live stream on my channel from a couple of weeks ago? Let me just find it here. Let's go to YouTube /basic Joomla. Let's see here. What is this basic? Oh, that's when I went live from the airplane. Oh, come on. Let's see. Live videos, popular playlists. Let's go up here. Live. Okay, Imran. Watch that video. I think that ChatGPT Assistant Pro by Christopher Mavros is a great opportunity right now for people in the Joomla community to offer a service, just what you said, Imran, of putting an AI chat assistant on a website trained on the content of that Joomla site. I think with that extension, if you know how to, if once you get good at it, and I've not tried it yet, but he demonstrates it. I think with that extension, once you get good at it, you could go to anyone that's got a website and say, would you like a chat assistant that's AI where people can ask questions and it will answer based on the content on your website, on a website? If they would like that and they say yes, you could use that extension and you could build their site around it as that. All right. Now, again, maybe the best, it might not be what they need, it might not be the best need. They might have a very complex site, and to switch everything all over just for that might not be an honest or a might not be a noble work to offer them. But that will do it for an existing Joomla site. You can, if you, all you have to do too is be able to search sites online that are running on Joomla and sell that service to them. The trick is finding those sites. But even if you put on Fiverr, we'll add a chat assistant to your Joomla site. You might find some clients there. Bjorn says, nicely said. The data revolution did not erase any jobs. It just changed them, right? AI revelation just going faster. Yes, it is going faster. I agree. AI going to do both cut and create jobs. I think so. And yeah, Imran says that's something that you need. You got stuck a few months ago for an experiment that you were trying to do. Yeah. So Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, happy Joomla birthday. I hope that you're having a good Joomla birthday week. I hope that your summer is going well too. We have some wildfires here on our island. They're a couple hours away. You're very welcome, Imran. A couple, anyways, the wildfires, they're a couple of hours away, but we got a lot of rain last Thursday night, all day Friday. We got some rain on Saturday, and our fire hazard has gone from extreme, high and extreme to low and medium. But it's really changed things for us here around here, which is nice. And oh, Ivor, that's a very kind comment. Julie says it's winter where she is. The worst is over. Not looking forward to hay fever season. Bjorn says stay Joomla forever for the next 20 years. Yeah. You know, in 20 years, I'll be 79. Will I still be doing Joomla? Who knows? Will I still be alive? Who knows? But, you know, just to fall back to, like I said, you know, the good news, Joomla is good news. For me, the real gospel, the good news, I'm trusting in Jesus for the forgiveness of my sins. So if I am dead before I'm 79, I know that I am safe in him for eternity. So that is that's good news for me. And it can be good news for you too if you trust in that. All right, everybody, let's wrap that up. And we will yeah, leave it there. So thank you for your support of this channel. Thanks for tuning in today. As usual, I hope that wherever this finds you, be it morning, evening, afternoon, or tomorrow, that you are well. Until the next time, enjoy your Joomla sites and God bless.